In competition, you're trying to win, you know what I mean? Like, you are not going to win if you just want to play nice. You know, I'll see a dude and he might look fine, but I'll say, you know, hey man, it looks like you're limping a little on your left leg. A few laps later, the dude will be limping.
At what point did you find the ultra running? So amongst, you know, all of this, did you ever find running, obviously you trained for the Special Forces, but long distance running, was that ever present with your mum around and stuff?
So I was always a good runner. The first long run I ever did was with my mom. I wanted a new backpack for school, and she made me go do an 8-mile trail run with her. You know, I was pretty young. So, yeah, I've always been a good runner. I've always enjoyed running. And even all through buds, like I was one of the best runners in my class. Nobody knew it. I never tried to like stand out. I never tried to finish first at anything in buds. It was a selection process, right? So I just wanted to keep my head down, middle of the pack, just be consistent, right? And so nobody knew it until one day I used to chew tobacco back then, and there was another guy in my class who was also a really good runner, and everybody knew he was a good runner, and I spit a big spit of tobacco on his boot one day. He had just polished his boots, and I just did it to piss him off. Spit a big spit of tobacco on his toe of his boot, and the next morning I woke up and he had filled my boots up with sand. So nobody likes putting boots on first thing in the morning that are full of daggone sand. And we went out that morning and we had to do a chow PT, which was a run up a long hill called Al Huey. And the guy was there. We were like ready to fight each other. And he challenged me to a race up Al Huey for chow PT that morning in front of the whole class. And of course, the rest of the class is laughing. They know this other dude's going to win because Chad's, you know, just the middle of the pack guy. And we took off and I like destroyed him. Like I said, okay, it's time. I'm gonna like show my skill at running. And I beat him up Al Huey, like crushed him. And from that point forward, I always knew I was good at running. And when I got out of the Navy, I knew I needed something, like I wanted something that was going to challenge me still at a high level. And so running just kind of fit because I had some natural talent there. And ultra running was just kind of growing. There were a lot of new races coming on the scene. And I thought, I enjoy running. I'm pretty good at it. I know it's going to be hard. You know, it's going to give me some purpose, you know, just for in day to day as far as training and stuff like that. Give me something to train for. And that's kind of, I just flowed right into it.
Do you remember the moment you fell in love with this, like the sport element of it?
So it definitely wasn't my first race was a 50 miler. I had never ran any races before. So my first race ever was a 50 miler. I don't think I fell in love with the sport of it. I fell in love with the nature of it on my first race because it crushed me. Like it just crushed me. And I was like, holy crap. Okay, yeah, this is what I wanted. Like this is hard. And then I didn't really fall in love with the competitive aspect of it until one of my friends who I was actually in the Navy with, he came to me and he ran that first race with me. And he was like, Chad, you know, you could start winning some of these things. And when he told me that, I was like, okay, now let's focus on actually training and winning these things instead of just trying to survive them. And then, you know, once I did that and I went and I won some races, I really started to enjoy the competition aspect of it, like being in the front of the pack and battling it out with other runners. And then probably like the pinnacle of all of my running was at a last man standing race. That became my favorite format to run, is last man standing. because I don't like to run fast. Like I can run fast, I can train that way, but I like to go long, and I like to be able to get in other people's minds. Like I make it a game. And with a last man standing race, you're running the same loop over and over again. So you're with the same people every loop, you're with the same person, you're with the same people. And so I just love it, dude. I just play so many games with guys. I'll see a dude and he might look fine, but I'll say, hey man, it looks like you're limping a little on your left leg. Like, are you feeling all right? And he'll be like, no, I think I'm fine. Well, a few laps later, the dude will be limping on his left leg. And like, he didn't hurt his leg. I just planted that seed in his mind that there's something wrong with his left leg and he's limping. And it actually like becomes his reality. It's wild, man, how powerful the mind is. And a lot of people would say, well, Chad, that's not very sportsmanlike, and that's not, that's not inspirational. But man, in competition, you're trying to win. You know what I mean? You're trying to win. So I love that, being able to leverage all those, little minds, spoken word, and not giving your pain a voice, and then leveraging those things against my competitors. And so that became kind of the pinnacle for me of ultra running, was that last man standing. And I won 2 of those races, the mid-state mile, back-to-back years. And that's my favorite format to run.
I hope you're enjoying this episode with Chad Wright so far. If you want to see an extended cut of this interview, because we couldn't get absolutely everything in there, from the conversations in his car to his lounge to the morning coffee talks, find them all at Patreon down below. Use the link in the description for exclusive benefits right now, where you can get behind the scenes, extended editions, early access, ad-free content, and much, much more with the link down below. Thank you, Patreon community, for making this possible. We could not fly our film crew around the world and make this happen without your support. Let's dive back into the episode.
I'd love you to speak to that, like the savagery of competition, because I do think there is a ever growing voice at the moment, like, oh, you shouldn't be like that. Like, it's, we're all competing together, and this kind of like participation medal kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Whereas I see the value massively in the savagery of like going to war with people mentally, physically, in a space where you can allow that to happen, like a run, or a fight, like a boxing match or a Muay Thai fight or something. Like there's these situations where we can go do that, and maybe your ego gets hurt a little bit, and you might get some injuries, but you can really go to a mental place of taking people down if you want to. Could you speak to that? Because I think we are getting softer voices coming through at the moment, and maybe perpetuating that a little bit more.
Yeah, people really don't. People, like you said, they really don't like that. Like so like even that film that came out about that race, the Just 1 Mile. There's a full documentary on it, and a lot of people that watch that film, they actually hate me. Because the film shows me doing that. You see me doing all these things on the film. And so I have gotten like hate from that. And but dude, that competitive drive, like that is why people win. Like, you are not going to win if you just want to play nice. Like, you're just flat out not going to win. Like, even in you can. So I was running actually yesterday with the biggest mentor in my life since I've been out of the Navy. His name's Jesse Itzler. You guys should do a film on him one day.
Incredible guy.
Yeah. So I was running with Jesse yesterday, and I was like, Jesse, man, like I'm at a place in my business where, like, when you first start out, you're really hungry. Like that competitive drive is there, right? But then as you go and you build the thing that you had set out to build, you get to this point when it's all built and you're like, okay, well, now why do I keep going? You know what I mean? And Jesse told me, he was like, you need to look at what you're doing now, at the point you are now, as a competition. Like, you need to figure out how to make your training better than everybody else's, your podcast better than everybody else's. Everything you do, and there's a lot of places that we can improve. Like, things are just running fine right now. Well, again, we're bringing this to real life, to business. Like, things are just running fine. We could just let them keep rolling, right? But when you stop thinking about things as a competition, like, you're not going to keep going. You're not going to keep improving. You're not ultimately going to win, right? And so he told me that yesterday. He was like, you're a competitive guy. Like, why aren't you need to get that competitive drive back, and you need to apply that to every aspect of your business. And that's going to give you a reason to keep doing what you're doing. And it really resets your mind and makes you think, okay, yeah, I've built something, but I haven't really built what I set out to build yet. I have a long ways to go. And so that man, just thinking about things in that way and not backing down from that competitive nature that, I have in me. I don't guess everybody has it, but it's a key to success. Like, all the races I've won, there's no way I would have won if I wouldn't have set out to crush everyone else there. Like, everyone who wins an ultramarathon, they don't win by accident. They win because they show up, and whether they will tell you this or not, their ultimate goal is to crush everyone else there. And that's a mindset that you have to be at the top, and to stay at the top.